ध्यायेत् शारदचन्द्रसुन्दरमुखम् ताम्रारविन्देक्षणम् भक्ताभीष्टवराभयप्रदकरम् कौपीनमात्रोज्ज्वलम् स्वात्मानन्दरसानुभूतिविवशम् सर्वानवद्याङ्गकम् श्रीमन्तं श्रीरमणेश्वरं गुरुवरम् योगासनाध्यासितम् ध्यायेत् श्रीरमणेश्वरम् ध्यायेत् श्रीरमणेश्वरम् ध्यायेत् श्रीरमणेश्वरम् हृदयकुहरमध्ये केवलं ब्रह्ममात्रम् यहमहमिति साक्षादात्मरूपेण भाति हृदि विषमनसा स्वं चिन्वतामच्युतव पवनचलनरोधा आत्मनिष्ठो भवत्वम्। Namo Ramana. We will commence today's Atma Vichara by listening to Bhagavan's Upadesham. We've been reading from the book Self-Inquiry 1900 to 1950, a compilation of all the questions and answers on Atma Vichara by our founder president Sri Ramanacentre. In the last few weeks, we have been looking at a series of questions regarding how the who am I or the whence am I has to be done. Today, continuing on that questionnaire, the devotee is asking, should I alternate my questions, who am I or whence am I, with the replies given by Sri Shankara, such as I am not the mind, intelligence, and so on? Or should I repeat the formula Shivoham? The question is, should I alternate my questions, who am I or whence am I, with the replies given by Sri Shankara, such as I am not the mind, intelligence, and so on? Or should I repeat the formula Shivoham? Bhagavan answers, suggestive replies such as Shivoham to the enquiry are not to be given to the mind during the meditation. The true answer will come by itself. Any answer the ego may give cannot be correct. These affirmations or auto-suggestions may be helpful to those who follow other methods, but not in this method of enquiry. If you go on asking, the replies will come. The method of enquiry is dhyana. The effortless state is jnana. I read Bhagavan's answer once again. Suggestive replies such as Shivoham to the enquiry are not to be given to the mind during the meditation. The true answer will come by itself. Any answer the ego may give cannot be correct. These affirmations or auto-suggestions may be helpful to those who follow other methods, but not in this method of enquiry. If you go on asking, the replies will come. The method of inquiry is dhyana. The effortless state is dhyana. As Bhagavan is saying here, is saying twice, affirming twice, that the true answer will come by itself. He's saying it twice in this very clearly, and also suggesting very clearly that no mental suggestions has to be given. No suggestions in the form of an answer to the question, who am I or whence am I, is to be given. It is, if you give an answer, like I am Shivoham or I am Atman, it is as good as really not experiencing that tattva, but holding on to an idea or a concept, which is of not much use. Suppose I know what, if I say I know Tiruvannamalai, I know Tiruvannamalai, it is not like being in Tiruvannamalai at all. It is like saying, I know elephant, it is like that elephant or something like that, really not being with the elephant itself. So Bhagavan is saying here, this is a common pitfall or a common way the mind cheats us. It assumes an idea or a concept and believes that it knows. We may say, I know Ramana. Really, what is Ramana? Ramana is whatever the master was experiencing himself as. It cannot be the name, it cannot be the form, it cannot be that. Though it may help in the path of spiritual journey, but the real experience of Ramana is how Bhagavan experienced himself as. That is the true experience of Ramana. So therefore, this suggestive replies is a way the mind keeps the inquiry, stops the inquiry in another way. It by giving an answer, it feels that it has completed the inquiry. Therefore, Bhagavan is saying suggestive replies such as Shivoham to the inquiry are not to be given to the mind during the meditation. Sometimes this I know Tiruvannamalai, I know Ramana is one way. There is other way. We hear and we get many hear and say. Like here in this questionnaire, in the question, the person is asking, should I hold on to the replies given by Sri Shankara? Here, like I am not the mind, not the intelligence. Like that, we might have gone to many satsangs or read many spiritual books, and there may be similarly suggestive replies too. And we may think that we know it, but that is not really knowing. The real knowing is being. That's why Bhagavan says, if we say I know Atma, it is to be the Atma, not to know in any other way whatsoever. So this has to become very clear. That's why Bhagavan is saying, in all other ways, auto-suggestions may help. In all other paths of sadhana, it may help. It may help by bringing the Eka Chintana. Like instead of getting disturbed, I am not the body, I am not the senses, I am Shivoham. It may help in bringing the Eka Chintana in other thing, but look at what Bhagavan is trying to say here. In this method of inquiry, Bhagavan is saying the experience is paramount. The real experience of the what one is, or where the I thought rises from, or who that real I is paramount. Therefore, that experience will not rise as long as there are any ego given answers. That's what Bhagavan is saying. Any answer the ego may give cannot be correct. So any answers, any ideas, any concepts this ego may give is keeping us still or making us still attend to it. It is not allowing us to attend to ourselves. This is why Bhagavan is saying that it is not correct. Therefore, one should not hold on to any suggestions or auto replies, but rather keep on inquiring every thought, every answer which may come that I am not the mind. Who says this? I am not the mind. Okay? This is what I have read from Shankara. Who says that I have read from Shankara? Keep on inquiring, Bhagavan says. Every thought, every auto suggestions or every reply the ego puts, he says, continue to put the inquiry. That is the real dhyana. That is the real tapas. That is what Bhagavan told Ganapati Muni, that go on inquiring where from this mantra rises. If you keep on doing it, and Bhagavan says that the reply will come and by itself, the true answer will come by itself. The true answer will come by itself in a way. If the closest example one has to give is, there will be a sudden sort of realization what one is. It will be a sudden recognition without any thought form, but by the direct experience of itself. It is most often said like it is learning the cycle balance. We will be trying to balance. Either we will be falling to the right or falling to the left, and suddenly it will come. And once that balance comes, we cannot know. It is not in the intellect, not in the mind, neither the body or the indriyas learnt it. Somehow I think the cycle and the person sort of become one. And when they become one, it just happens to go perfectly. So that is the way Bhagavan is suggesting, or this realization would be. It will not be in any form of suggestions or answers, but it will be a direct experience. That experience is what Bhagavan is asking us to get, and for that, he asks us to keep on knocking the door for that experience by the inquiry, which he calls it as dhyana here. And as we keep on doing the dhyana, we keep on knocking the door, there will be that recognition, and the moment that recognition happens, there will be no doubts, no suggestions, no effort to put any more. One would know that one is verily that very clearly, and all other things would automatically fade away, and one recognize, or if they are there also, it doesn't matter. One recognizes that one was always the self. So it doesn't matter if the thoughts are coming or going, the intellect is functioning or not functioning, the body is there or not there. One becomes very clear that one was the self and continues to remain as the self. That effortless state is the real gnana, the real avoidance as that itself. It is like how clearly we know that we are Dilip, I am Dilip, or I am this body, or I am a man. It will be very clear that I am the self. That is what Bhagavan says this Atma Vichara brings about. And until that, he has given that we should do the dhyana. Every suggestions or every thought the ego may put, we have to inquire to whom is this, who am I, and keep on doing it as long as our attention is outward turned to the objects. And in due course, the mind, the realization will happen automatically. With the immense grace of Bhagavan, for the next 15 minutes, let us do Atma Vichara. Shri Ramanaya. Namo Ramana. Over to Sharda.
Namo Ramana. Prostrations to Ramana, shining as a self in all beings. Bhagavan tells us repeatedly and in Ulladhanarpada also that the self is ever available. Actually, as we discussed in one satsang, it is the self. It is our own self. It is not something apart. It is not something distant. But we are used to looking upon the self as an object, and we seek to look or to find the self as an object. We seek to want the self as an object. And that is why we say that we will think of it as A or B. I will think of it as the Brahman. I will think of it as the Parabrahma Swarupa. I will think of it as Shiva. Now this is obviously a beautiful aid, because again in Ulladhanarpada Bhagavan has said, Soham vicharo vapuratma bhave sahayakari. It is helpful. It is an aid in the Paramargana. But here he is explaining to us that in the method of Atma Vichara as taught by him, these answers or suggestions are not present, they are not given. What is this Atma Vichara? This Atma Vichara is a questioning. It's a questioning, who am I? And as Dilip also pointed out, that if I give any answer will be a thought for me. A negation or an affirmation saying I am not the body will be a thought for whom? Who is saying I am not the body? Who can say I am not the body? If I am not the body, if I am not any body, if I am not a body, where is the question of any thought arising? And if a thought doesn't arise, how can I say I am not the body? None of us try to say that we are not A or B or C, which we have never taken ourselves to be. I do not say I am not the fire, I am not the elements, I am not so and so who lives in America. I don't say that, because I never have a thought. I do not say I am not a dog. If I have a wrong notion that I am a dog, when I'm actually a human being, then the auto-suggestion is recommended to me, saying, tell yourself, I am not a dog, or tell yourself, I am a human being. So this auto-suggestion is obviously having its basis in the very identification. It is only so long as I think I am the body that I need to say I am not the body. So what does Bhagavan suggest? Bhagavan suggests that instead of saying I am not something or I am something, you ask yourself, who am I? What is the difference? When I ask myself, who am I? When I sincerely and earnestly ask myself, who am I? It means I do not have any answer. It is only because I do not know that I am asking myself who I am. If I already know, then there is no need to ask who am I. It is because I do not know. I am not able to comprehend. It only strikes me that all that I have assumed to be I is not the I. It is for me in each of our experience, it is only a thought. Everything that we see, everything that we perceive, everything that we comprehend is only a thought. I am Sharada is a thought. I am a body is a thought. Because it rises as an experience and it passes, it sets. This awareness of my being Sharada disappears in deep sleep. It rises again when I wake up. And it is not constantly there with me at a conscious level either, because when I am thinking of my nose, I am not thinking of my hands. When I am thinking of the sky, I am not thinking of the sea. At one point of time, we are having one thought. We are not having two thoughts or billion thoughts. But our minds move so fast from one thought to another, it gives the illusion of having many thoughts at a time. So we are having one thought. So at that point of time, we are identified with that thought. But we do not know. Who is the one who is saying, I am the body? Who is that same person who is going to say, I am not the body? Who is that entity? Is there such an entity in the first place? This is the question which Bhagavan is asking us to pose to ourselves. Is there somebody called I to say, I am this or I am not this? Is there someone there? If we look at our thoughts, we recognize that we know. Until we pay attention to the thoughts, we may not know what we are thinking about. Because very often, if somebody comes and asks us suddenly, what are you thinking about? We may sometimes say nothing. Doesn't mean that we have not been thinking about anything. It only means that we have not paid attention to what we are thinking about. So we say, no, I'm not thinking about anything in particular. Meaning to say, I don't even recall what I was thinking about. But if we start paying attention to our thoughts, then we recognize what we are thinking about. And whatever we are thinking about, the object of the thought, the object, which in fact is called the thought, is quite evident and clear to us. We are able to say, now I am happy, now I am sad, there is sorrow, there is anger, there is beauty, I can see beauty, or there is logic, I can say 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. And 3 plus 1 is equal to 4. Therefore, 2 plus 2 is equal to 3 plus 1. All this I am able to say. Even quite complex logic I am able to say. And I can tell myself that I am not this body, that I am able to tell myself. I am not this mind, I am able to tell myself. I am able to tell myself I am actually the limitless self. I am able to tell myself, but I do not know who is the I, who is telling all this. Who is it who is saying, I am the body or I am not the body? Who is that entity? Is there such an entity? If there is such an entity, who is that entity? This is the question which Bhagavan is asking us to pose to ourselves repeatedly, because there appears to be an entity so long as there is an object. There appears to be a subject. There appears to be an I for whom there is a thought. And there are beautiful thoughts. So many beautiful thoughts have been given to us by Bhagavan. So many beautiful supports have been given to us by Bhagavan on this path. And of course, the most beautiful of them is He Himself. Bhagavan's life, Bhagavan's pictures, His form, His words. What more beautiful things can we come upon? What more beautiful objects can we think about? But he says, even these objects, question them, question the one who is aware. A few years back, I had a song came to me which goes like this. I dream of you still, I dream of you still, I dream of you still, Ramana, best beloved. You built me a ladder to the stars, a slide to the bottom of the seas, a merry-go-round around the galaxies, a seesaw between earth and heaven, and peopled my park with dreams. What a beautiful life, what blessings Bhagavan has showered upon us. You built me a ladder to the stars, the beauty, the nature, and everything wonderful. A slide to the bottom of the sea is the most precious things in life He has given us. He has given us life itself, which is so precious. A merry-go-round around the galaxies, the mind can go anywhere. The mind can comprehend so many things and the beauty of all that. And people, my park, would dream so many lovely people in our lives. So many beautiful old devotees of Bhagavan. When we see them, how wonderful each devotee is, how amazing. We can be thinking about them for lives on end. But after giving me all this, O Ramana, what do you say? You say, then laughed your heartwarming laugh and said, wake up, wake up. You've given me this beautiful dream. And then you say, wake up. Why? Because waking up is so much more beautiful. That's why He wants us to wake up. Because the waking up is the truth. The waking up is He. And all this is not separate from that truth. In the dream, in this dream, when I see myself as a separate entity, I see everything as separate from me, as different from me, as having an independent existence. But really, what is the truth about a dream? The truth about the dream is that nothing is independent of me. And I know that only when I wake up. I won't know it in the dream. So long as I am dreaming, I will not know. Even if I conjure up the most beautiful dream, whether it's a beautiful dream or a nightmare, I will not know that the entire thing is only my own creation. It is all only the consciousness. There is nothing apart from the light of consciousness. But somehow, mysteriously, an I has arisen, which is dividing consciousness, the undividable, indivisible consciousness. It is dividing into I and the other, I and the other, I and the other. And so long as even any little scope for the presence of other is there, so long as other is there, I am there. I am presumed to be there because I can see somebody else, right? We often say, I can see the world out there, the world is real. And because the world is real, I, who see the world, am real. That's what I want to affirm. We want to reaffirm, we want to hold on. Somehow or other, we want to hold on to the identity. We don't want to let go. But we need to let go. And the simplest way to let go, says Bhagavan, is by questioning. Because, that's the only way. Because if I just consciously say, I will let go of everything, I will let go of my body identity. Who is the one who is letting go? It will be I. So I'll be holding on to myself anyway. When I'm thinking of letting go something, then I am there. When I'm thinking of giving up, then I am there. When I say I surrender, then I am there. But if I surrender, then I'm not there. When I say I surrender, when I think of surrender, when I think that I should surrender, when I think that Bhagavan is supreme, then I am there. But when Bhagavan is supreme for me, I am not there. But how will I reach that point? It is a point. It has to happen. It's a magic point. How Dilip said, it's like balancing on a cycle. Recently, I was with Sri V. Ganeshan, whom we call Ganeshananna, and he was giving a sweet example from his childhood. He was talking about effort and effortlessness. And he said how, actually, in a strange way, effortlessness is there as the basis of the effort. It is not separate. It's not a point to be reached. It is just there. And he gave an example. And he said that when he was a child, about 10 years old, and his younger brother, Subramaniam, was 8 years old, and Mother's temple, the work on Mother's temple, Matrabhuteshwara temple, was happening. And it so happened that the Pali Tirtham behind the temple, the tank was full and there was plenty of water. And the sculptor, the main sculptor, the Stapati, he just called these young boys, 10 and 8, and he said, come, I will teach you how to swim. I'll teach you how to swim. Just come with me. And they went, but he said, Mani, Subramaniam, he said, நீஞ்ச தெரியாத தண்ணியில இறங்கினா செத்து போயிடுவா. Okay, he said, that young boy said, if one gets into water without knowing how to swim, one will die. If you get into deep water without knowing how to swim, you will die, right? That's what children will be taught. So he didn't want to get into the water. And that's how probably we are. We feel that way, that if we drop everything, if we drop all our defenses and get into the self, then we will die, we will disappear, the I will disappear, the I will not exist anymore. So I have to hold on to something, I have to hold on to a float, I have to hold on to something. That's why we ask Bhagavan, can I hold on to this? Can I hold on to that? Actually, if there is a mantra, if there is a very intense holding on to something which is absolutely natural, then the question will not arise. If somebody is so much filled with that Aham Brahmasmi Bhava, so filled with it, so intensely, or if one is so filled with the love for their Ishta, so filled with it, then there is no question of asking Bhagavan, can I hold on to it? Shall I leave it? Is this the right way? No question will come, because that will be very natural. That will be something which consumes us, and that will take us automatically. But when a question comes, that's where Bhagavan points out. When I ask him, shall I do this? Then it is a mental superimposition by me, and therefore Bhagavan guides me, saying, no, don't superimpose anything. So this young boy said he won't swim because he was afraid. Like all of us, to let go. If we let go of all the thoughts, what happens? Without having self-abidance, without having self-knowledge, if I let go of identity, I will be nowhere. That's what our mind says. Now, but how do you get into how do you learn to swim unless you get into water? So Ganeshana said that he anyhow agreed. And then he said that the Stapati said, okay, I'm going to hold you. And you start beating your hands and legs. So he was beating his hands and legs, and the Stapati was holding him lightly, and then he let go. And then Ganeshana said when he let go, he felt he's drowning. And he started beating his hands and legs, and the Stapati held him again. And when this happened some 2-3 times, and he says, suddenly I realized that I am afloat. Suddenly, when the Stapati let go, I realized that I am afloat. And I can float. I can swim. That's what it is, no? It is the recognition of the buoyancy, the natural buoyancy in the body. My niece, who is an ace swimmer, she says, Chitti, one cannot drown. Actually, when one recognizes this natural buoyancy, it is impossible to drown. That's what she says. So, it's like that. Bhagavan says, here you will think that it's impossible to live without thoughts. There you will laugh at your own supposition that you could not live without thoughts. So there will be no room for thoughts, he says. So that will be the natural point which we reach through self-enquiry. And it is a repeated, as Dilip said, it is a repeated diving in through the question, who am I? Who am I is also repeated by us. It is repeated every time a thought arises, every time we ask ourselves, who am I? But it is not repeated like a mantra. What is the difference? In a mantra, I think I am repeating the mantra. In the question, also I may think I am asking myself the question. But since the question is, who am I? The moment when I ask myself that question, there cannot be any answers whatsoever. And there has to be the experience of silence. Even for a minuscule moment, there will be the experience of silence because I don't have any answers. But if I give an answer, then that silence will not be there because I'm giving an answer. So there will be an answer. In anything in life, the moment an answer is given, the question disappears. Where is the room for a question? An answer has already been given. Any answer may be given. A child asks, where from does the sun rise? Or where does the sun set? Why does the sun set? Where does the sun go to in the evening? If a child asks, sometimes we may tell children, in those days there will be some stories, or the sun has gone to bed. They'll say, sun goes to sleep. So it's like that. But then scientifically, if a mother wants to tell, the mother can say, no, they can take it, explain it. See, this is how the earth is rotating. The sun is not going. We are the ones who are going away. It can be explained. But the moment the child gets an answer, what will the child do? The next time the child sees the sunset, the child will see it with the answer. Oh, the sun is going to sleep, or the sun is not going anywhere. The earth is rotating. So the beauty of that setting of the sun has disappeared. It's not there anymore. The mystery, the wonderment will not be there. However, supposing the mother says, one day we'll try following the sun. As the sun sets, we'll follow. Once we had that sort of experience, I don't know, when we were driving, and we kept on seeing the sun. It was an undulating country, that area, and we were going, every time we would dip, the sun would set. Every time we would be up, it would be up again. And then the sun would set again, and then the sun would rise again. And sometimes we can experience it in a flight also, as we are moving, It is such a beautiful experience. But if we give it a name, if we label it, then it's over. There is no more any tentativeness. There is no more any openness to what is being revealed. So Bhagavan says, let us not give any answers. Let us be completely tentative, with full faith in the Guru. As Ganesha said, when he went to swim, he had faith that the Stapati would hold him. Stapati said, I will hold you. He had the faith. If one does not have faith, one cannot dive in. So one has to have faith in Bhagavan's words or in the presence. We have to have the faith. At the same time, the beauty of self-inquiry is that it makes us completely tentative with reference to all objects that we may hold on to. Every object that rises in our consciousness, we recognize it to be an object, and that way, when we continuously keep on questioning, there will come a point when we recognize that actually there is no entity, there is no separate entity, there is no such thing as a subject I at all. So any answer gives the apparent feeling there is one who is giving the answer. Every thought gives us the apparent, the illusion that there is a thinker. But Bhagavan says, Manasam tu kim margane krite naiva manasam. There is no such thing. There is no such thing. And what is the manasam? Vritti aham manaha. That aham vritti is the mind, and that aham vritti is non-existent. It does not exist at all. There is nobody to answer. When one asks, who am I? There is no one to answer, and that is why there is silence. The self will not say anything. Bhagavan says in Ulladanarpadu, Satchit Udiyadi. It won't rise and declare, I am this or I am that. It just is. Therefore, there is no one to answer. There is no entity to answer, and only the fullness is there. That's why Bhagavan repeatedly emphasizes the beauty of this question, who am I? And when he suggests the source of the mantra sadhana also, he suggests turning to the source rather than being with the thought that I am doing the mantra. So when one asks where from is this arising, then the attention is shifted from my doing the mantra, my doing the japa, to the source of the mantra. That's how Bhagavan repeatedly shifts the attention away from the limitation back to the source. And by that immense grace which allows us to apparently make even this effort until the naturalness of the experience comes, the effort is also sustained by that grace until it is required, and then that very grace will swallow the effort and remain as it is. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Thank you. Seems to be okay. No question. Yes, Dilip. You can give the prayer.
Apar Satchit Sukhavari Rashe Yasya